has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth, but we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Hello people, my name is Rage, and welcome one and all as we find out whether the darkest dungeon is worth your time. The short answer is, damn, yes, yes. The long answer, the rest of this video. So, normally, I wouldn't do a worth your time on a game that is in early access. It's going to be available to you guys soon. But with this, it really is such a compelling, unique, and atmospheric experience, and I have been unable to just be not playing this since I started, and it has been absolutely wonderful, and I want to tell you guys about it and talk about it, and you know how these things go. So, as you saw from the opening, it's a very sort of type Cthulhu deal. Evil's been unleashed onto the land, you know, we dug too deep, they got a bit of dwarven in their blood apparently, and now everything's gone to hell in this once nice area, and we, as heroes, are now at this sort of town, hamlet area, and we have been called back with that letter to come and claim our birthright, which is this estate, the Rage Estate, I mean original, I know, and to do that we have to clear it of the evil and eventually defeat whatever the source of evil from that portal is, and this is done in a dungeon exploration system. So right now in the hamlet it is your home base, and as you see on the right, these are all of the characters that I currently have to use in my party. You can take a maximum of 4 with you on a mission, and there's a lot of really unique classes. So the first thing I'm going to go over is simply I'm going to jump into a mission and show you the meat of the game, then we'll go over the nuances of the hamlet and how you manage things and what you do, and yeah. So, when you go out into the world, there are 5 main areas, as you can see, culminating in the darkest dungeon. Yeah, there we go. I like it when there's something in the game akin to the title. So I have unlocked the ruins and the weald. I'm sure it's fine. Now, I am nowhere near competent enough to tackle the weald at this point. I really am just not. My party is not in the best of states, and this helps me bring up something that I really have a lot of like for in this game. That was a fantastic sentence. So I'm going to choose my party. Now, unfortunately, my knight here, Reynald, is currently paranoid because the horrors of what's been unleashed have unnerved him and unhinged him slightly, and he's not doing too hot, but I still kind of need him because he is Very useful and my only tank. I'm going to use a Jester, a Highwayman, and the Holy Priesty type lady, because party composition is a big important part of the Darkest Dungeon. So once you've selected your party from the heroes you've recruited, I'll go over recruiting once we've finished the little bit of dungeon crawling we're going to have a look. You have to buy your provisions. Now, you get a lot of gold from exploring the dungeons, and you also find family heirlooms throughout the place. These heirlooms you use in the town, and again, we'll find that out later on. Food is very useful for when you rest and are able to heal up your party in a very kind of D&D feel, which is nice. Bandages to stop bleeding if your parties fall for traps or get wounded, and various other useful articles, though you don't need that many of them early on. I'm going to buy a lot of torches because light is actually a very cool mechanic in this game and is something you really have to manage. And one thing I will say is I love the voice over work. You saw the voice? Yeah, you can see sound waves. I'm quite impressed with you.
But you must be driven back.
Yeah,
and
this guy.
Place to begin and the seat of our noble line.
Yeah, that guy, he regularly comments on things that happen. It's not too much that it gets annoying, and I think his voice is wonderful, and it adds such a layer of flavour to what's going on. It is absolutely brilliant. So you're probably thinking, God damn it, man, how do we actually play the game? So this is how it works. You end up in the dungeon, and these are all the rooms that I have to explore, and this is my party lined up in the order that you see them. The order that lined up is a very tactical experience. Now, this is a very much dungeon crawler, kind of roguelite experience, but I don't like calling something a roguelite, because I feel like it's a little bit of a cop-out comparison, but, you know, it would be there. There's permanent death for your characters, decisions really matter, you cannot redo anything, there's constant saving, and you really have to think tactically and strategically to the point of sacrificing a party member to save another. It really is it is brutal on you, and the game conveys such a massive sense of horror of what is actually going on in this wonderful art style that's going on that really exemplifies itself once we get into the combat, and you really feel the evil and despair that your heroes are feeling. The bottom bar, the stress, is just how much they are affected by what's going on about them, and as you can see, my party's fairly stressed. So throughout the dungeons, you find these various nodes that you can interact with that can completely damage you all the way to giving you the good stuff, i.e. gold. So you just generally explore, going from room to room, and you will eventually find things like, for example, our first combat. So as you can see, it is turn-based combat, and it is very heavily strategic. Normally, turn-based combat turns me off of a game, but in this, it really works, and it's kind of required, because that level of thinking, it's almost like XCOM in how you have to manage your guys when you're playing XCOM on the mode where your guys permanently die. You really do have to think about stuff. I'm only early on in the game, and this game is still kicking my ass. I am getting hammered whenever I try and play this. So I'm going to be starting with Cordonel, the Jester. Every character gets their different turn order. So I am just going to harvest. Now this, as you can see from the dots, is most effective from the two middle positions of my party, the yellow dots top left, and is effective on the middle positions of the enemy party. So it's really good to use when there is two guys there, because you can do a lot of damage like that. The Jester I really like, I think he looks fantastic. So my healer here can just heal any of my party. We have an ability to just smite one of them, and we have an ability to add to our torch, which is actually really useful. So for now, we're just going to judge the injured one.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
So we're just going to judge him away, and again, that's exactly what I was saying with the voice. We'll scatter shot away with these guys. It's not very damaging, but it lets us do a little bit of area effect damage. Area effect damage is very weak. You can't rely on cleaving down your enemies. You got to focus your assault and be very tactical. And because my main guy here is paranoid, and now my cleric is...
The shadows whisper of conspiracy.
Yeah, and now my cleric is paranoid, because when you have someone who's paranoid, they're basically yelling at your party, guys, we're gonna die, we are so dead, and then your party's like, God, maybe we are, and then they get paranoid, and you have this interplaying personalities from your characters. They really all do have their own unique things going for them, and you really do start to form favorites and compassion, and
give them no quarter.
It really is amazing at making you care for the state of your party members. So she's like saying negative things, making my highwayman here a lot more stressed out. And now she, because she's paranoid, she's just going to attack without my actual input, and obviously that's kind of a negative thing.
As the enemy crumbles.
And there we go. So yeah, the real sort of booming, yeah, voice as things go on makes things really, really interesting. So we got through that battle fairly okay, considering that my party is pretty already worn out starting this, and it's hard to just recover your party. So we managed to get some scouts off here. We can see that there is treasure and then combat in that room over there. So I'm going to choose to move to the room that just has stuff in, because even if I fail the quest, I get to keep at least what I've found, and that's very useful. You've got to manage your resources very, very well, because if you run out, you're going to slowly start losing members until it really is game over. It very much works on a, you get as far as you can, either crumble or die, or you somehow heroically make it through and complete the game, and it offers a lot of replay value in that sense. So how the torch works is the lower the torchlight, the more stressed your party gets, the more worried, the more monsters surprise you, but on the flip side, you get more loot and higher crit chance for the light being low. But if the light is high, which you can replenish by simply burning a torch, as you can see, we're good at surprising monsters and we're good at scouting now, which when you have a weak party, having highlight is very good. When you're feeling particularly strong, then low light is very good. So you see, we surprised all of these monsters because of our highlight level, so now we all get a free attack. So what I'm going to do is sickle the two at the back and start damage going. You want to try and inflict a lot of damage on the weaker ones at the back straight away, just to get them out of the picture. I'm glad the paranoid cleric here is actually doing useful things. There we go. Instead of very much negatively affecting my party, which is very possible. I'm getting very fortuitous in how these battles are going. A nice little stab there. The thing with Heroic End is it does actually make my guy weaker after using it. It's exchanged for such a powerful ability, and there are multiple abilities you can unlock to build your various classes as you want. You don't just have to have these 4 abilities on everyone. I'm not going to go through all 4 abilities individually because it's really fun when you start playing.
Confidence is a slow and insidious killer.
There is a lot of fun in looking at all your abilities and working out the best things to do, so I'm kind of just going to be doing the combat. And I know maybe so far you've been looking at it thinking, doesn't look that exciting, but trust me, you really, really get into it. It has such a good way of actually making you really care about what's going on, really get into the atmosphere, really understand the sheer terror of what your party members are going through, because they're not heroic magical adventurers. They're normal everyday people who can kind of fight, and they've come to this hamlet to try and claim fame, glory, riches, honor, salvation, whatever their motivation is, and they are quite varied. And then they've realized that they are way in over their heads. The horrors that have been unleashed by what you saw at the start are overwhelming and terrifying, and you can feel the spirit of your party members break, and it is wonderful. I mean, granted, it's not wonderful that that happens, but I mean, it's, you know, it's wonderful that this game can convey that in such a seemingly simple format, and I think that is absolutely phenomenal that it does it so well. I have not been this into playing a heavy, strategic, very punishing turn-based game since XCOM, and that is a very high compliment. It really, really is. This is very wonderfully done. It's got a lot of polish, a lot of production value, and it just looks really nice. So, this is good.
Adversity can foster hope and resilience.
My guy here was tested. These two were tested and became paranoid, but my jester bro over here was tested and he was like, no, I am the hero here, and he became vigorous. So he's now going to start boosting the morale of my party, as well as being a lot more effective in combat. And it's really cool when this happens, because this is the kind of way you form attachments to your character. You're like, yeah, this guy has got my back. Because losing characters is horrible. The crit 14 there is horrific. Okay, let us sickle those two. Hopefully it'll kill the first one, and it indeed does, so that is great. A lot later on in the game, you do get a lot more tactical options in terms of your items and what your party is doing. This is very early on, but it is still immensely satisfying. Okay, well, she needs to just heal herself at this point because she's going to get sniped by the 2 crossbowmen in the back. Oh, God. Alright, no, they're shooting at him. Though still, my highwayman a little bit low here. This kind of sucks. Is he actually going to... No, he's actually fled to the back of the party. God, what a loser. But he does manage to take out the crossbowman, so that is absolutely glorious. But yeah, the emotions that this evokes is brilliant. There is serious moments, and yeah, because he's at the front, by the way, different abilities can be used in different places in the battle. So now I'm at the front, I can do this, which is a really, like, look at the slow motion combat animations. They're not crazy. They're basically still frames, because it goes a little bit slow-mo, zooms in at the front. The work that goes into making every hit have this kind of weight. It really makes it brilliant stylistically to look at. It really does. It is immensely satisfying. And it's such a neat little game. There is really not much in the way of negatives I can say, because everything that is here is wonderful. And there's just not much negative I can do, because for what it's trying to accomplish, a dark, gritty, emotional journey that you can feel the crushing futility of your quest as you somehow struggle for survival while you fight really difficult, tactically sound battles, managing your resources, being attached to your party members, going through all of these strategies and plans, trying to make everything happen, only to have something unlucky or meet some enemies you can't beat and watch your party members get slaughtered and knowing you're probably going to have to start a new game, and it's so upsetting, but so rewarding at the same time. And that's something a little bit rare these days in games. So this has really impressed me. I have gone from looking at it thinking it looks really lame to playing it constantly, and I think that really does say a lot. So this guy, because he's not on the front row, can't actually use any of his abilities, so you can tactically swap your people around instead of attacking with them. This guy is particularly tanky, as you can see. We've reached round 6 against him. The Jester is awesome. Okay, heroic end, you got this. There it is. He's one of my favorite party members at the moment.
At least promises success.
Yeah, and we found 8 crests and 500. I didn't take it, did I? I accidentally pressed. Whoops! And the thing is, that's it. That's gone now. That's just a little example of how punishing this game is, because I chose to do that. I am now royally just out of those resources, and I just have to live with that. And that's a good example of a lot of little decisions you have to make. So once you get to the end of a dungeon, you do end up fighting a boss, and the bosses are horrible. As you can see, your party can get starving, and that's where the food provisions come in. If your quest lasts too long and they get too hungry, then like any people, they are going to... Should have really selected...
Possessed by evil intent.
Yeah, should really have selected my guy who's good at disarming traps there. That was a little bit worrying. So we are going to light another torch and head into this room. But yeah, at the end there is a really challenging boss that feels incredibly satisfying to beat. But after this battle, we have surprised these guys, which is wonderful. After this battle, I'm going to return to the town and show you how the management stuff works. And then that's really all I have to show you on the game, honestly. Everything else is pretty apparent how it actually does end up working. These guys are quite killable, which is very, very good. Oh, there it is. Boom. Oh, we nearly kept up the trend of one-shotting them all. That would have been excellent. So now we get another one. Power ballad right there. Absolutely excellent. And yeah, I really am just enjoying this. So what I'd like to ask of you guys, if already you're kind of liking the look of this, you're kind of interested in it, I would totally do some more episodes on this. I can see this being quite an awesome series. I can see us having our favorite characters and having this emotional journey with them as we fight for survival and try and accomplish it. And I think that would be... Oh no, it's trapped. That's not good. That is not good. Regret. Instant regret. So what I'm going to do is abandon the quest just to show you how everything goes in the town. I will start a new game
and learn from it.
Yeah, the voice, I love the voice so much. But yeah, I will start a new game if I actually choose to do this properly as a series with you guys, but I would love you to let me know on that. It really would mean a lot. I'd love to do a game like this, because I think we can really have a lot of fun with it, because I am very much enjoying it. It's rare that I can't level any kind of objective criticism at the game. I would say the only thing is maybe it throws you in at the deep end a little bit too much, but that's kind of also part of its charm. So at the end of a mission, you gain positive and negative traits. He's now a slugger, so more damage, but he's now clumsy, so he's going to miss more. And then now he's a clutch hitter, so when he's below a certain amount of health, he's going to be powerfuler, and I've still got my 2 paranoid people. So how do I deal with them being paranoid? How does the town all function?
The poor caretaker. I fear his long-standing duties here have affected him.
Yes, indeed. So we've unlocked a new area because we're progressing in weeks in the town. So first of all, the stagecoach. This is where you hire new members to join your party. New foolish adventurers are arriving. So I am going to get a seeker occultist because I think it is nice to have a good roster of...
the abyss, one must know it.
Yes, he has a really cool line for everyone you recruit all the classes. But yeah, having a good, varied roster of guys is very useful. The Blacksmith allows you to upgrade their equipment. I don't have any way of doing that right now, but you eventually end up with some really nice weapons and armor. And basically every single building you can upgrade with the heirlooms that you find in a mission, and they get stronger and better at doing what they do, but I don't have the correct amount at the moment. The guild is how you unlock new abilities. It's all honestly very simple stuff. So if I was to spend 1,000 damage on unlocking Holy Lance, I now have the ability to swap out Reynolds' combat skills here, and he can now start lancing with the best of them. You see, there is different locations, so Holy Lance, I can actually have him not right on the front lines and cast it, but now if I have him right at the front lines, Holy Lance was just wasted, so there is a lot of tactical depth in that. And I think the town may be a little simple, but I also think that kind of helps, because you want this nice, good base with which to manage things, and you don't want to get too bogged down with micromanagement when the real meat of the game is performing well in the dungeons and doing as much damage prevention as possible. This place lets you get rid of negative traits such as Reynold, who's prone to stealing for such a pious noble knight. Then we have the Abbey. The Abbey lets you put a stressed person in. For example, this is a priest, a holy messenger of the divine power. So what I'm going to do is put her in the church for a mission, which will sort out her paranoia. Now, Mr. Reynolds here refuses to accept any religious help, so what I'm going to do is put him in the tavern, where we can enjoy the pleasures of the flesh, the thrill of winning, and drink your cares away. In fact, yeah, he can't go in anywhere because he is a negative trait that means he refuses to do anything but just pray when he's in the town, which is how you get to know the personalities of your characters, because they all do have these different quirks that you have to work with. And as you can see, I don't have the Nomad Wagon yet, and you unlock it later on. So that's really how the town works. There's nothing crazy going on. You have your main quest goals. I've not even defeated the Apprentice Necromancer, my first boss yet, because the game is kicking my ass so hard, and it goes all the way to the Swine God, Necromancer Lord, and the Hag Witch, and I cannot imagine the requirement to beating them. And then you have just raise all of the classes to level 6. So I imagine there will be more to come in this game, and I will definitely look at it again when it's fully released, but for now I think it is really worth your time. Honestly, that's the point of this series, and I'd love to do more stuff on it, guys. So let me know if you liked this, if this kind of style was intriguing to you, and if you'd like to see more content. Let me know, liking, commenting, whatever, however you want to do it. I really don't mind. But for now, my name has been Rage. This has been the Darkest Dungeon, and it is certainly worth your time. I will see you all next time, and subscribe for more. Oh, goodbye. You've been